Thank you. Got it. Well, good morning.
Oh, Lawrence, you need to unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay, all clear, all good?
Yep.
Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, March the 10th. And of course, the slaughterhouse of failure is not in our destiny. We shall persevere until we succeed. Well, we've got a lot going on right now with Nu Skin, with products, with where we're going, what we're doing. It's really, really exciting times for us. By the way, Dan's on honeymoon in Costa Rica, so kudos for that. Mike Cook is in Mexico. He's having a good time over there too. And we've got John Swartz preparing to go to Punta Cana. So we've got a lot of really, really good things going on right now. And as far as Nu Skin is concerned, we've just been told about the human biome and where AI meets DNA, and we're investing $500 million in that and so on. Well, as it turns out, yesterday or day before, in the Washington Post, there was a huge article, big article, on studies on the microbiome. And there are a lot of references and studies about various things. It's references made to the fact that the microbiome can, which is the other body brain, can affect your mood, and mindset may be affected. So whether you want to exercise or not may have to do with your gut. Who knew? So how enthusiastic and energetic you are, that also may have to do with your gut, with your microbiome. So coincidence, Nu Skin's been working on these microbiome issues for 7 years, and they produced Nu Biome as a product. And I read what that says. And also Meta. Meta came out, not very long ago, and it's now one of our best-selling products. Why? Because actually they all work. And we've now discovered that how we feel, how we act, our mindset may have a lot to do with our gut health. This is strange, but there's so much support now that we've got coming out, that Nu Skin's been ahead of this for some time. And we've been, it's exciting to think that it's all part of our own company. So when we look at the at Nu Biome, the labeling on Nu Biome says, from aiding digestion to helping maintain your overall gut health, the microorganisms in your GI tract impact your wellness far beyond the stomach. Pharmanex Nu Biome helps this vital intestinal balance with powerful dual action solution of prebiotics and postbiotics. Well, there again, this has now become a buzz. Postbiotics, prebiotics. We're now looking always at the stomach, and that also helps to look and see how we feel. So, for example, a lot of people have lunch with a lot of carbs or pasta and stuff like that, and then half an hour later they're falling asleep. Well, even though you may have a good mindset generally, and then you go and have a meal that is contraindicated for your personal the benefits of your body or personal body, because everybody's different, we're affected in our mood. We're affected in our mindset. So probiotics promote beneficial bacteria in the gut to support a healthy microbiome. Postbiotics are also beneficial for the intestinal bacteria. So we're looking at something, and on the Meta label, it says the following: are always on modern world is taking a toll. Stress, erratic work hours, poor sleeping habits, and eating on the run are throwing our body chemistry out of sync. In fact, only 1 in 8 of us is metabolically healthy. 1 in 8 of us is metabolically healthy. This is an alarming statistic, considering the metabolic health is not only how our bodies interact with our lifestyles, but also includes a full range of biochemical processes that affect every part of our health. It's time to rethink what healthy means. Sorry, I can't see the messages right now. So what we're talking about is, we talk about mindset. It's always about, Fridays is about mindset. It's about, putting into effect a lot of the systems that we understand and so on. But it starts with how we feel. So the mindset is one huge part of it, but what makes us feel enthusiastic? What makes us feel like we want to get on a bike and ride, or feel that we don't want to get on a bike and ride? It may have to do with our gut. It may well have to do with our gut. Your gut may help motivate you to exercise, or it might nudge you to skip your workout. Which direction you take appears to be influenced by diet and health. Your microbiome, the given name to the communities of bacteria, viruses, and fungi that live in the intestines. Gut health affects your overall health. So when we start talking about, why people, I've always been about the why. Why does this guy do this? Why does that person do that? And why do they behave in this way? Why are people, we always say, for example, if somebody is hyper, don't give him any sugar. Well, don't give me sugar anyway, but sugar is one of those things that makes us hyper anyway. So we look at our guts have been shown, the state of our guts have been shown to affect our hearts, waistline, sleep, huge. If you don't sleep well, then your mood changes. And moods, the risks for a variety of diseases, including diabetes and some other cancers. Now, these are studies that are coming out that I think we should all actually understand, or at least start to look at, because we're going into a new era of DNA and AI, which is all done for us. But at least if we understand right now the incredible benefits that we've got from new biome and that we've got from Meta, and why we should be promoting those, they're all there. Mental sharpness and gut health. It's associated. They're associated. I remember a few years ago when Vitality came out, and they started to show they started with showing on mice. So they would give mice some Vitality, and they would monitor those mice, and they would then monitor the mice that were in the control. And they could show there that Vitality was a product that really worked. And the mice that had the Vitality were about 30 to 50% more active for a much longer period of time as well. Well, Vitality is a root, a fruit, and a mushroom. Cordyceps chinensis, ginseng, and pomegranate. And yet our minds and our energy and our vitality and our libido are affected by that. So Vitality is an incredible product, and it's an oral product that we take, and that helps us with our sharpness, our memory, energy, and libido. So the gut biome is massively important. It's hugely important. So when we look at all of these scientific breakthroughs that are coming out and the products that we've got, man, it's exciting times. Here's something that is quite plausible. These are scientists' quotes. It's quite plausible that our motivation to exercise or not depends in part on the composition of our gut health. Also our butt, get off our butts, but in our gut health. So Garland, this particular scientist, said, can we boost our interest in exercise by taking probiotics or changing our diets or otherwise? So these are, questions that are coming out now. Research has suggested a link between our diet and mental health. The gut microbiome, the collective genome of trillions of bacteria that live in the intestinal tract that are created largely by what we eat and drink, appears to influence our mood and mindset. Guys, this is really cool stuff. Mindset, we've always just thought about mindset as getting off our gluteus maximus and get into it. And we are, we are or we are not in the particular mindset. But we may be affected by what we eat and how we eat, whether we're sluggish, whether we're not, how healthy our microbiome is. How healthy is that? Do we know? Does everybody eat more or less healthy? Hopefully we do. But here and the scanner is something that measures a biomarker, which is our level of antioxidants. If we go to pubmed.gov, and you put in there any disease you care to think about, I don't care what it is, any disease, just put it in there. PubMed.gov, a disease, and next to it put antioxidants. You'll be astounded at how many studies there are. Dr. Louis Cady, who we talked to at some time, said, we asked him, Dr. Cady, why are you such a proponent of antioxidants? And he said, well, go to PubMed.gov and put in there Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, autism, and see how many published papers there are from on that site. There are, I think from memory, 9,000 or 10,000 studies on antioxidants and Alzheimer's, Parkinson, neurological, Alzheimer's, psychiatric. We're looking at diseases that are not only pathological, we're looking at diseases that are mental as well. And we're looking at antioxidants, which is what? Which is part of our health, and it's part of our nutritional health, how we eat. So, we're on at times that now are so exciting. Depression, here's another one. The largest analysis of depression and gut microbiome to date, published in December, found several types of bacteria notably increased or decreased in people with symptoms of depression. Well, there we go again. Depression, that's mind. It has to do with the mind, and yet it has to do with our gut microbiome. To be exact, how you feel is closely related to what you consume, the gut-brain axis. The axis. Gastrointestinal system has been featured in brain research for centuries. In the early 1800s, John Abernathy, a popular London physician, held that gastric derangement was the root of all mental diseases or disorders. That was in the 1800s. This guy was talking about brain disorders, mental disorders, and gastric derangement. I mean, we're on something really cool, and our company has a leg up on everything that we're doing. Our company actually has. Sorry, I'm just trying to find. This is terrible. Now I've made it worse. Okay, doesn't matter. I can't even see myself anymore. So we're looking at exciting times. I'm trying to make the point that we've got something that is like putting us on turbo fuel, rocket fuel, with what is coming down the pike, with what we have. And we're beginning to understand that we have solutions or mitigating solutions towards helping our health. And in our case, on a Friday, we're talking about mindset. So we're talking about how we feel. And how we feel has everything to do with what we eat and how that's absorbed. Bacteria that predict depressive symptoms. They conducted the same test using data from another 1,539 Dutch citizens, encompassing a range of ethnicities, validating the findings from one large group in a second large group that makes them particularly reliable. The analysis reveals 16 types of bacteria and so on, but there's something that absolutely floored me. And I'm going to read this textually. Interesting, the same decrease has been spotted in microbiome studies of traumatic brain injury and obesity, both of which are tied to depression, supporting the notion that this species of bacteria has something to do with this mood disorder. Now, hear this one. Immigrants arrive with flourishing gut microbiomes. Then America's diet trashes them. This is massive stuff. We've got to understand that what we eat, and it's that frog syndrome. We're like the frog in the warm water. Put the frog in water, it's cold and it's sluggish and it warms up, and then they get excited because it's warm-blooded, and you keep heating the water until it boils, and the frog is happy, it dies. Because that's the slow progress or digression from something that's healthy. And that's what's happened in our diet here. In the States, we are accustomed to eating the SAD diet, as reflected in our biophotonic scanner. 40% of the US population, approximately, is in the SAD diet, standard American diet. And the more we eat that, the worse we get, the more obese we get, the more sluggish we get, the worse we're becoming. When we look at, I scanned literally hundreds, excuse me, hundreds of people in South America from a factory, from 3 different factories. There were like 2% were in the red. The rest were all in the yellow and in the green, and a few in the orange. But most of them were in the yellow and the green. And here, most of us are in the orange and in the red. That tells us something. So, I'm trying to make the points here that we're at exciting times. We've got products, we've got the tools, we've got the science behind it. Excuse me. And we've got to understand that it's all with us. Here's another thing, says we cannot exclude our own DNA as a contributing source. It's a combination of DNA you were born with, your experiences in life to date, and your environment. So here's a study that's bringing out DNA now. DNA, food, environment, lifestyle choices, microbiome. This is what it's all about. And preventive medicine, which we all profess, at least I do, excuse me, it's all about preventive medicine. It's about health. It's a healthy lifestyle, longevity. We're talking about a good quality of life. So these are all things that have direct bearing on how we're going to live. So gut and brain health, brain cycle together, for instance, appear that comfort eating after a stressful event can change the microbiome community in our intestines, which in turn exacerbate depressed feelings. So when you have comfort food, because your anxiety is a big one. When we feel anxious, are we in a good mood to do any work? Are we in a good mood to be in a good mindset? Anxiety, sadness, and yet we go and have comfort food. That makes it worse. So, I think I'd like to open this up if anybody's got anything they'd like to add, because there's a lot in here. As a clause on this, it says, all this research has convinced Utter Linden scientists that adopting gut improving diet comes from just comes with one significant side effect. You'll be happy. You'll be happier. Anybody have comments, please?
Oh, yes. Can you please hear me?
Yes.
So to support what you're saying, a friend of mine who I've informed about what I've gotten myself into the other day called me in the morning and was like, hey, you told me about what you're doing about your antioxidant. My son has been diagnosed with ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So can any of your products help? So what I told him was like, it could help, but I'm not sure. But I will get into it, research a little bit about it, and then let you know. And as you know, all of you know what attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is certain as ADHD is, right? Some of the symptoms include having a short attention span and being easily distracted, making careless mistakes, for example, in your work, appearing forgetfulness or losing things, being unable to stick to tasks that are tedious or time consuming, and appearing to be unable to listen to or carry out instructions. So upon my research, upon a little bit of my research, first of all, I look into whether there's any connection between the ADHD and antioxidant. And I was amazed that there is a study published which actually linked ADHD to antioxidants. And it's amazing. And how is the link? You know, antioxidants either prevent oxidative stress, right? That's what it does, basically. So when there is oxidative stress, it triggers so many things. It triggers cell membrane damage. It also changes the inner structure and function of protein, and also causes structural damage to our protein or DNA, which therefore culminates into development of what? ADHD. So that was the connection. I'm like, wow. So I proceeded on to look into whether there is any connection with the carotenoid, the antioxidant that we are measuring in people's body, whether there's any connection. And I also find a study that also confirmed that beta carotene or carotenoid is beneficial to ADHD. So I'm just trying to make this point to support what you're saying. Antioxidants is everything. It can sort of help with so many diseases that you can never imagine. So that I just wanted to say something about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Titus. I would like to make a little emphasis about something. Even though we have all this scientific information at our fingertips, we cannot prescribe, we cannot recommend, we are not doctors, so we cannot at any moment recommend or suggest anything that is scientific or anything like that. We can quote what we know from what's labeled on the products that we have. We can quote that, as I did now. I read out what it says. But we've got to be careful about recommending products. For example, if somebody says, can I take this because somebody's got ADHD? You did the right thing. You did your research and you came to your conclusions. That's perfectly good. And then consult your doctor and say, Doc, this is what I came across. These are the products I found. What do you think? Then that's, in my opinion, the correct way to do it. You've done your research. You've looked at our products. You speak to your physician and say, is this something that I should be doing? And he will give you the right answer.
Good, yeah. I agree.
Lawrence?
Yes, sir.
So your topic this morning is so exciting to me because this has been really out in the world for a number of years, as you know. there's I remember watching Dr. Mark Hyman, who ran the integrative health department at the Cleveland Clinic, and he now has his own practice. I think it's up in Massachusetts, but he did a 9-hour video series. You can probably find it on the internet, and it was called The Broken Brain. And I have 21 pages of notes from that 9-hour series. And in that series, he was talking about how the brain is indeed, or how the gut is the second brain in your body, and how it absolutely impacts what's going on in your brain. And he identifies that the vagus nerve is the communication highway between the gut and the brain. And he says, everything we eat and drink, affects that gut bacteria, including anything like chlorinated water. Let me just see here. There was one other thing he said. He says that the relationship between the gut and the brain is physical and chemical, so that such things as serotonin are actually processed in the gut. Mm-hmm. And so I'm absolutely excited about these newer products that our company has come up with, because they are just right in the main highway of what science is discovering and how it impacts our bodies. I mean, do you have any idea what the level of anxiety and depression are in this country? Dr. Mark Hyman said both of those and even bipolar can be impacted by your gut. And so we've got this whole growing community of doctors and other healthcare providers that deal what they call lifestyle medicine. We always deal with the functional medicine doctors, but there's these others that are getting certified in lifestyle medicine. These people are talking about everything we've talked about for years, and it's all the different aspects of lifestyle. The only difference is we're the only ones that truly have a device that measures the balance between the free radicals and the antioxidants for a net score. We are the only ones that have that. And if these people can get educated enough to learn that, that's where we'll have 50,000 scanners out in this country.
Well, Jim, I've said it before. When the scanner came out, it was disruptive technology. No one knew what a scanner was. Very few people even talked about antioxidants. We had to educate the healthcare professionals, the distributors, the clients, the customers, the patients, everybody about antioxidants, because they didn't even know about it. Today, it's become a bit of a buzz. You can get antioxidant shampoo, but everybody has heard about AI. Everybody's heard about DNA. So it's now dovetailing, and it's the perfect timing where the work, we don't have to educate anybody on AI and DNA. And the education, years of doing it, trying to educate people on the scanner and antioxidants and so on, is now coming to fruition, where all of it is kind of meeting in one. So we've got the scanner as a basic biomarker to start looking at antioxidants. We can then lead the people to go and have a look at PubMed.gov, where all the diseases you can imagine. Somebody asked me something the other day about some weird disease that I never even dreamed of, couldn't even pronounce it. And yet there were some studies on antioxidants on it. So there are a lot of studies out there. And we've been at the forefront of the vanguard of being able to come up with stuff that is really, really worthwhile. So one little thing I see here, the use of probiotics to prevent and treat depression could become more of an exact science, leading eventually to effective alternative to antidepressants. Can you imagine? Everybody's on study antidepressant. Mental disease is going to be one of the biggest problems we've got in the next 12, 15, 20 years because of the complete upheaval that we've had with the complete upheaval we've had with COVID. That's completely disrupted our way of thinking, our lifestyles, our life choices. We've gotten fat. The whole thing has changed.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned a couple of things, and one is I feel we are so many years ahead of the rest of the market. And just for example, they're talking, oh, prebiotics might affect your mental health. Hell, we're into postbiotics. And I don't hear anybody else talking about postbiotics. So I think we're really well ahead of the game. And everyone on this call is so cognizant of the fact that your microbiome affects your mental health. We've already known that. We take it for granted. Most people are like just becoming aware of it. But the other thing I think we need to be aware of, you said that the biophotonic scanner is a nice basic measurement tool. That biophotonic scanner is the measurement tool. It is the superb, supreme measurement of that very delicate balance between free radicals and antioxidants. Everybody wants to talk about, well, maybe get more free radicals. Our machine measures the balance. It measures the impact of your stress on your body, which is probably one of the most impactful aspects of your health. And so to me, it's like we're sitting on such an amazing product, a device, and it's important. Lifestyle medicine is being kind of driven by the medical industry. They're getting people certified and all this. We need to be careful that they may want to diminish the impact of our ability to truly measure it like you measure with the blood for pharmaceutical drugs, because we're on that level. We are definitely on that level.
Well, I think it'll strengthen whatever happens. I don't think much can be diminished from what we've got. I mean, we can only be looked at as beacons of light in a field where the company is 38 years old, 39 years old, with 75 full-time employed scientists, largest anti-aging research company in the US, and rated among the 100 most trustworthy mid-cap companies in the US. Come on, I don't want to sound like I'm on some kind of high or something, but I am.
Yeah.
This is what we got. It's amazing stuff.
Agreed.
So, sorry, we're over time. If anybody's got anything else they want to add, please go ahead. Nobody? Okay. All right. Well, everybody, I appreciate your time. Thanks for being on the call. And I hope it was of some use to be able to just spark the interest on DNA and AI and our scanner and whatever we're doing with our microbiome. Blessings to everybody. Have a good weekend. Thank you for being on the call.
Thank you, Lawrence and Jim.
Thanks, Lawrence.